Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Horde, uh, Visual Arts Director at the Maine Arts Commission. I want to say good morning, all, and welcome to Making Engaging Video Work Inside a Total Marketing Campaign. Each session, we do an art break, and for this one, it comes to us from the Waldo Theater in Waldoboro. The Waldo Theater has been closed since 2014. Plans to reopen the theater in the fall of 2020 were shifted by the pandemic. Thanks to a resilient and determined team, Waldo was able to virtually open with performances broadcast from the newly renovated theater to Maine and beyond. Palaver Strings performed in November, one of the few times so many of these musicians have been able to gather and perform live together. This piece from the performance is Rachmaninoff's Vocalise. Thank you, Palaver Strings and the Waldo Theater. Hero Media Arts has been working with artists and entrepreneurs of all types for many years, helping to create and update their digital presence. Joining us today are Creative Director Michelle Miller and Hero Founder Dean Gyorgy. We are grateful that they are here today to share insights and tips from their years of working with artists and entrepreneurs to create and update their digital presence. Please take advantage of the Q&A box on your screen and submit your questions for Michelle and Dean. We'll have time to ask your questions at the end of the session. Michelle, Dean.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Maine Arts Commission, for inviting us today. I'm Michelle Miller. I'm the Creative Director of Hero Media Arts, and Dean Gyorgy is the founder of Hero Media Arts. We are joining you from two different rooms in our office today, so we can take our masks off and you can see our faces, get to know us. Personally, my background is that I have a graphic design and media arts degree from the Maine College of Art, graduated in '01, and have been helping entrepreneurs for 20 years realize their visual presence digitally and online. And I've been with Hero Media Arts for 3 years. Basically the tour guide to help you achieve your vision. So working together to do that. Dean's going to tell you a little bit about his background, and then we'll let you know about what we plan to do in this session today. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle, and hello, everybody. It's great to be here today to tell you a little bit about our story, our hero's journey, and how we've been working with artists to express themselves digitally. You are looking at our office in beautiful downtown Winthrop, Maine. We're on the 3rd floor there above the subway. And I grew up at the other end of that lake that you see behind our office in Reedfield. I left after high school, as many of us do, and sort of bounced around for 25 years in various places in various careers. I left a global marketing or a marketing position with a global 500 company about 8 years ago, 10 years ago. I just found it wasn't fulfilling, and I wanted to work with clients and to tell authentic stories. So came back to Maine and went to Maine Media Workshops in college down in Rockport to study photography and video, and started an agency above our garage. And, you know, given where we are in central Maine, I think our clients sort of by necessity are owner operators of small businesses, artists, tradespeople, entrepreneurs, people who are passionate about what they do and a compelling story to tell, but not a lot of resources. And I think the great thing that we've all discovered, you know, in sort of the digital revolution is that there are a lot of tools available to us. There's a learning curve to many of them, but if you can sort of master them and layer in real creativity and strategy, that you can be very effective. We renamed the agency to Hero with a small h to sort of celebrate those passionate people that we encountered every day in our daily lives and our client base. To celebrate that heroic nature of everyday life. So that's really our mission, is to elevate passionate people through digital tools, specifically video, and to really see them, to understand their passion and their vision, and to convey that in an effective way.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dean. We're going to show you some videos, video testimonials from some of our favorite clients who I'm sure you'll recognize through the artist community. And we're going to show you some videos that we've created. There are a traditional hero approach that we take. You can see a video that will show you that, as well as some other shorter snippets and ways that we can use video for multiple platforms. This video is on an artist named Andreas van Huyn from Woolwich, Maine. And it is what we do is we send out one videographer who will go and interact with the subject, spend about 2 hours watching them do what they do, and have a candid conversation, which it turns out to be the interview. So what's kind of cool, and what we hear all the time, is that oftentimes people are reluctant to sit in front of the camera, but that after their experience with our videographer, they realize that it wasn't all that bad, and they end up with a really cool product in the end. Let's take a look at this one.
For some reason, the word
Maybe.
here we are. is not loading.
Huh. Who knew there would be a technical difficulty today?
Right. Hold on. Well, I don't know what to do here.
Is a failure. It says failure.
Failure. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
So sorry.
No problem.
Deep breath. These are videos hosted on an internet platform, obviously, so maybe we just had to wait for this to load. Okay, so here's Andreas, and I guess, as is obvious right now, these are not going to be conveyed in their full glory. It's kind of like playing music through an AM radio. And so at the end of the presentation, there will be a link to a gallery that you can really experience them, because there is some sound design, and these we really think these are sort of 2-minute short films. So please do enjoy them in the highest fidelity when you can.
When I start a sculpture, there's some idea in my head. I can force that idea and nothing but that idea on the stone. But that's not my style so much. It's more of a conversation where I'm learning what the character of this art piece is as the art piece is developing and evolving. Letting your mind roam happily through possibilities. It's the most important part. Your imagination is the strongest tool in the artist's toolbox. I could belabor it and do every feather and every talon, or I can work with your imagination. I'm fortunate in doing sculpture, and that lets me be outdoors and physically active. Those are two joys right there. But then there's another joy, which is the coming together of many things. When it's finished, it's like, oh, look at that. Nice to meet you. You can always go back in and change something, but that doesn't happen that often, I find. If you feel confident in the craftsmanship, then you have more confidence in this creature. And you can say, oh, there you are. Faults included. The real work of an artist is taking courage. If you don't dare to do something, you cut yourself short.
So that really is the classic hero video that we've developed over the last several years. It's 2 minutes, which we found is sort of the sweet spot for social media. It holds people's attention. As we first started doing web video embeds, we were going sort of 5-6 minutes, and really we found that we can tell a story within 2 minutes. And hopefully you see that we take a sort of a cinematic, very thoughtful approach. They're quiet, not only for artists, but really for all our clients. It creates an emotional connection, a sense of patronage. You meet a person and you end up wanting to support them in some way, or again, creating that connection that sort of stands out in a crowded video landscape. We are so bombarded with video, political and celebrity and of all stripes, that our videos that sort of are a little softer, a little quieter, a little more cinematic, really sort of stop your scroll, if you will, and grab somebody's attention.
We want you to think about these 3 things today and always going forward in marketing your own businesses. Who your audience is. And we know that you already know your audience. You've been engaging with them for years. Physically, you've been seeing them at shows and events and gallery openings and performances. But now we need to think about how we reach them online. So what's cool about that is that you can create a like audience in a digital way. You can think about the demographics of the people that you know that are your followers and recreate them online. And the other question is, how are you getting their attention? So what we've been finding is that video is the great way to connect with people and to keep their attention. And then, like Dean was saying, making that connection and hoping that that then drives people to take action, to come visit your website, to come visit your Etsy page, to come visit a landing page with a really specific call to action to talk to those people. So these 3 questions are the ones we want to keep reminding you to ask yourself in a digital way. You may, oh, we're gonna let this load. You, I'm sure, recognize our very good friend and client, Helene Farrar. She's continually asking herself these questions. She knew that her broke down website that she had last year was not gonna cut it. She pivoted to using a new platform, and we helped her create her website so that she could have a robust e-commerce site. And she'll tell you a little bit more about her thinking.
Hey there, my name is Helene Farrar. I have a studio in Manchester, Maine, and I am a self-employed art educator and artist. I work primarily in the medium of encaustic. Anyways, I just want to tell you a little bit about my website. The end of last year, 2019, I really felt like it was time to take control of my website. I had built the previous one, but it was really not updatable. It didn't have an e-commerce option, and it was just an endlessly frustrating website platform. So I started using Squarespace, and in January I started building the site, and I didn't really know how important it was going to be until the pandemic hit. However, I got the website going. It has events on it. I had a beautiful shop on there, and in 2020, I'm happy to report, I sold just over 100 paintings on my e-commerce website. I had never sold really my paintings online. And I did around 20 custom works, and a lot of those were fed from people purchasing work from my shop. I have found that it's important to update my shop every week or 2. I do my email blast. Once a month, I do a newsletter, sometimes twice a month, but not more than that. I really don't want to ruin that because I've got about a 42% open rate on my emails. And I usually sell at least 1 or 2 pieces per month from sending out MailChimp and sending them to my website with an updatable shop. So I've got a good thing going, and I'm hoping to really rev up this year. And I've been really happy with my website experience, and I'm really appreciative of the support I've gotten from Hero Media Art, specifically my very dear friend, Michelle
Love
Some great points there from Helene. I mean, certainly, you know, the pandemic effect for our digital tools, right? It's more essential now than ever. And she is very fortunate, I guess, for her that she recognized that before it all hit and was ready for it when it did. As we said, you know, we started working with her new website, you know, in January. And so e-commerce has certainly been great for her. She talks about self-serve web platform. I think many of us, you know, if you put together a website sort of 8 or 10 years ago and had somebody hard code it for you, or chose a platform that was difficult to manage, you know, we encounter a lot of clients who are just frustrated because they can't work it themselves. And Squarespace and other platforms that we can help set you up on, you know, are very user-friendly. You know, and lastly, she talks like a marketer, right? She can quote you her open rates on her emails with pride. And I think that's our goal too, is to get you comfortable with these tools, you know, help you choose the ones that you intuitively feel will work for you, and then teach you how to use them and make them all work together. You know, she talks about her newsletter driving to her Facebook page, and her Facebook page to the website. So that's really the idea, is to make them work in concert.
Yes, absolutely. There's an app for that. We joke about there always being another app for it, but it's what you're comfortable with. When you call us and have a consultation with us, we can talk about what you're already using and how that's all working together and integrating. And then we can find you new tools should you need those. There are many platforms to use. Here's another of our friends, Tim Christensen. You may recognize him as well. He's a porcelain artist out of Roque Bluffs, Maine. He talks about moving away from brick and mortar galleries and more to e-commerce. And I think what what Tim's testimonial proves is that you really can live in the middle of nowhere and have a successful art education and fine craft business.
Hi, I'm Tim Christensen. Generally, I'm a porcelain artist working in Sgraffito. You can see some of my work behind me. I live in Roque Bluffs, Maine, and work up here now, although prior to the pandemic, I also had a studio and a place to live down in Portland. In late 2019, my business manager and I recognized a trend in our business, and it seemed like it was long-term, way more than 6 months, and that was a movement away from brick and mortar galleries to more of an online presence. We could see this in our sales trends. And we pretty quickly recognized that if that's the way that people were moving anyway, then we could take the money that we had spent on commissions and agency fees and things like that, and put it towards our own promotion online. Once we got into that mindset, we were able to see that we actually, by doing that, we weren't going to be constrained in terms of our marketing by geographic proximity, and actually really by even temporal proximity, meaning that we could reach a market for anybody who had an interest and who had an internet connection all across the world, as long as we had a way to break through all of the information on the internet. When the pandemic hit, it really drove home that that was exactly the direction that we needed to go. And so we started building our online presence in a pretty concerted way. Rather than working towards shows or working towards other events like that, we wound up creating events online and creating content around those events where the content was engaging enough that the artwork that I was making as being part of those events that we were promoting would be almost artifacts of the event, and that people would have a way to connect with me on a personal basis online, but then also connect with me through the artwork by purchasing. This involved a pretty robust social media campaign that we handled through Hero Media Arts, and a video series and shooting video stock from which we could access and from which we could create, new projects and then promote those on social media. It made sense for us to hire somebody to do that because I don't know how to do that, right? But from a numbers perspective, it made a lot of sense. So that's how we've proceeded. And so far, it's exceeded our wildest expectations. We've been able to have a turnover in terms of money put in versus money coming out that was far in excess of anything that we've been paying in commissions.
So Tim's highlights for me, certainly this is our new normal, right? He talks about a long-term trend, an accelerated shift to online. That's an understatement. Really, even when the world comes back to us and shows, come back and we can shop more freely, your online presence, online commerce is going to continue, certainly. That has accelerated our comfort with these new tools. And when you enhance your online presence and open yourself beyond your immediate proximity or shows you can drive to, right? The world is your potential customer, and finding new audience. He says no constraints. I really like that. And the key is to create engaging, creative content, again, to break through, to reach your audience, in a compelling way.
This video is one where the footage was taken from one visit to Watershed for the ceramic arts in Newcastle. Tim was firing the salt kiln there, and John was able to go and gather footage for a hero video. Then the pandemic hit and we didn't quite get the interviews, so we got creative in how we did the audio. Tim sent us a recorded artist statement that we were able to put in with the B-roll footage. And we've also been able to use some of that footage for other smaller videos that he's used on other platforms, such as Instagram.
Craft has given me voice. Sgraffito predates written language, and it was developed at a time when the world needed to record information, adapting to the seemingly limitless concept of culture. Today, we need craft more than ever to maintain our connection to the earth and to bridge our cultural, language, geographical, and technological divides. It's a great honor to create functional work that's used in the most foundational experiences. For me, it's also a responsibility to judge my work not only on its craftsmanship, but also on its content. I'm responsible for what I say with my Sgraffito for its lifetime. Porcelain lasts as long as quartz. The information I scribe into it will persist until my work is ground under a glacier or melted in a volcano. Using nothing but a stick, a nail, and some mud, I'm able to speak over millennia. I can say everything I need to say using craft.
And so Tim alluded to the campaign that we put together for him. Certainly the campaign is about, as we've talked about, your target demographic. Who are your customers? And you inherently know that by the people that purchase your product, and that depends on what you produce. But we can find those people online. What's your desired result? Do you want to add more likes to your Facebook page? Do you want to drive traffic to your website? Do you want to sell things? Obviously, there's a specific call to action, and we tweak those audiences as well. And then it's ultimately, how much do you want to spend? And certainly, the more money we have behind it, and this is an iterative process, the more effective we can be, because it is a test and learn process. It's equal parts art and science. Moving to the analytics side, after we get over that initial budget, we're able to tell you what happened, the results, obviously. Through real data, click-through rates, engagement statistics, cost per click, cost per sale. And it really sort of sets a benchmark through that initial campaign to be able to retarget responders who watched your video longer than average, right? Well, let's hit them again with another offer or another message. Let's create like audiences. We see the people that are engaging online. Yep, that seems to make sense with who I know my customer is, or I didn't know that I had this audience. And let's try another approach to them with other creative assets, a different cut of the video, an additional video, an online event supported by video, other approaches with text. And so it is that sort of A/B testing, and over time, really narrowing in on the most effective pathways. I want to step off just a second as Tim talked about, the world as your customer, potential customer through the internet. I want to make everyone aware of a very concrete opportunity. I'm sure you all know the Maine Cabin Masters. They are stars of reality television, a high-rated show on the DIY network. They are from our area, Central Maine. They have a retail shop in Manchester where they highlight a lot of Maine artists. And really, from the beginning, Ashley, the designer, has made it a point of highlighting Maine craft, Maine artists, Maine craftsmen. If you've seen the show, anything from masons to wood flooring to art pieces that she'll put in the cabins. And last week, on January 4th, actually, they posted an open call to all Maine artists specifically, to share what you do and tell them a little bit about yourself. And so there'll be a PDF, I think, that will drop afterwards, but this is the actual post. You can jot some of this down here if you can quickly, but they are interested in hearing from you. And here's a small example of what they do if you're fortunate enough to be chosen on the show. And I know 2 or 3 people on this call have been, including Molly Saunders from Wayne Village Pottery in Wayne. She paid a visit to sort of see what they do. And this is just a quick hit. I know the audio is bad on this from the show, but it's sort of Ashley expressing why she likes to do this.
I think a 4th grader would be impressed. It's really fun for me to get out of the belt zone and come and do these projects. It sure is. A little. I like to go out and see all the creative people in Maine, and then bring it back and be able to use it in these cabins. So then it will go killed, it's fired. for coming. That was fun.
So we had also done a hero video for Molly. Again, a great subject, right? You all work in such visual mediums and you're so passionate about what you do that it really is, you know, a great match for our approach. But it was certainly the appearance on the show and all of the reruns that continue to play on TV that led to really a crush of demand for those loon whistles that she makes. So, you know, it's a great problem to have, but keep that in the back of your mind that I'm sure in your previous efforts, you know, if I attend this show, I should sell this much, or, you know, I can expect this much out of that brick and mortar. When you're dealing with digital properties and an unlimited potential audience, it can create some backups in demand. And I think she's still fulfilling these loon whistles from, you know, 6 or 8 months ago.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna let Terrell Waldman tell you a little bit about her thinking. She and Charlie Jankin are partners at Tandem Glass in Dresden, and I'm sure you recognize them as well. Terrell and Charlie at Tandem Glass have had a very robust in-person connection with their clients. They have a very visual medium, and they are known for having in-person fundraisers and open houses in their studio, and had to really think about how they could continue to connect with their clientele. Let's take it away.
Hi, this is Terrell from Tandem Glass, and I just was going to give a quick video testimonial about the great experience that I had working with Hero Media on video for my business. We talked to Michelle in April of this year about what our website needed to really stand out. And she quickly determined that we really needed more video. We have a very visually engaging art form, and video is a really great way to introduce people to that. And they spend longer on the site, they get to know us better. So we did 3 videos with them and attached an ad campaign to it and ran it in order to get more engagement on our social media platform. And we had a really terrific response. We are basically deciding after our experience with video this year that photography is not the only thing we need to be doing every single year to keep people engaged with us and updated on what it is that we make, but we definitely need to be doing video in addition to that. And so I highly recommend working with Hero Media. They were fantastic, and it was very meaningful for getting people involved in Tandem Glass.
This video here we're going to show you is a 30-second video that they used on Instagram. It's a square edit of the original footage so that it works well on that platform the best. It's something that's snackable and fun and exciting to watch that engages clients that way. And like she said, she got a lot of traffic on social media and bumped up their likes and follows. Can we turn the sound up? So cool. So these are some screenshots of the ads in action on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, and I think the point she makes here, you know, to move beyond photography. You know, again, you all work in such beautiful visual mediums, and we're all looking for the play button these days. And so it's really become a crucial element. And the point I was going to make is to repurpose assets across multiple platforms. We're going to show you their hero video in a minute, sort of that 2-minute, you know, quieter piece that we are so enamored of and feel are really effective. But once you have that video, you can cut it in different ways, right? The Instagram piece we just looked at didn't look like a hero video. It was, you know, snappy with fun edits and different sorts of music. But again, it was culled from the same shoot. We got it the same day. And I think, you know, her final point, and we're headed toward the finish here, is that video, effective video, I think, frankly, our hero approach creates that familiarity that really does increase engagement, right? Who is, for any small business, not just artists, who are your best customers? It's people that know you, that appreciate you, that, you know, that sort of know some of your backstory and have come to know you, come to like you over time and want to do business with you. That's what I think effective video can do, is really introduce yourself to a new audience quickly, in a very compelling visual way. So here is their 2-minute hero video, 2.5, because we've got 2 people in the interview, so we broke our own rule and went a little long here.
It's extremely exciting, nerve-wracking, crushing. It's production. It is hard, grueling, nitty-gritty production, but it's with a material that is gooey and interesting and supple and shiny and magnificent, always keeping you guessing. It's really like sculpting light.
Sometimes it feels a little bit like we have 4 arms when we're in there, because we're both so intent on the design that we both just get right in there, like right up next to each other. That's kind of the most fun, when we're kind of extensions of one another.
It is like a tandem bicycle. Sometimes one of us is steering and the other one's powering, while the other one, we switch that role, and it's quite immediate. We're driven towards the same mission.
Having this tandem thing that we do together really motivates me to push it in a way that if it was just my own work, I probably would not. Glass can be really precious, and we want it to be more durable and more fun and more accessible.
Less consistent, less predictable, letting the bits of color stay proud on the surface. The texture becomes a real interaction between the person holding it and the cup. They have a visceral response to it. It's not just beautiful and colorful and tough and holds my whiskey, but it's gripping my hand back. And people really love that.
I totally love what I do. I've been doing this for 30 years now, and I feel like it just got good. Like, my familiarity with the material and the equipment and the same assistant for such a long period of time, it's like, it just has facilitated doing something that I love.
So good.
I will share a new development with you. We are launching something called the Hero Network, basically collecting all of these videos in one place and providing for people who don't have the web presence that they want to yet, sort of a starting point. And it's producing the video, an included ad campaign, and a web page permanent placement on our Hero Network. And again, that really is sort of a good place to start, or it's a nice addition to what you have already in place. It's a launching point to add links and additional avenues as you get them. And it really is sort of a local directory that will be searchable by region ultimately, and by interest. So some takeaways, hopefully, this is, again, the new normal. This is where the world is and will continue to go. I think all of us, as artists, as business people, as consumers, will get more comfortable with these tools. Michelle and I were talking yesterday. When was the last time you picked up the phone and called somebody, right? Generally, it's, oh, let's have a Google Meet. So I think we're becoming more comfortable, for good or for ill, with these digital tools. For good. The toolbox is there for you to sift through. We threw up, our list of favorites. There are dozens of others. that we know something about, and if they're important to you, we can help you learn those. You know, and it's choosing your comfort level. Which level of communication are you interested in? Hey, I want to start a YouTube channel because I can do 30-second, 2-minute videos on whatever, or I want to do a longer form, or I really like to write, so I'm going to do a newsletter. You know, any number of methods of communication really should feel good to you, because, you know, our goal is really for you to give you ownership. And you heard that from our presenters today, right? They speak with great confidence about marketing their product. You know what it is better than anybody, and you know who appreciates it. And we can help you sort of wrap that together and get you comfortable with sort of running your own show. And I think it's important to be patient. You know, it's a process. We encounter a lot of clients that are sort of, I don't have what I need to have. That's okay. You know, we can sort of sort through what you have already, what can be improved upon, what we can add to that. And it's, to be patient and to build that over time. And again, we really are here to help, and that we see you. I think there's something very healing about being seen. That's why we like the hero video so much. And doing your own video and telling your own story on Facebook and whatever, that has great value too. But our approach of coming to visit and sort of witnessing what you do and reflecting back to you and to everyone who we think you are, is a fun process for a lot of people. And I think that's very, that's very satisfying to us at the end of a video session or a hero video, when we get to share that final product. And our clients say, wow, that was a lot of fun, or that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, which we hear a lot. It's a special thing, and not everybody gets to sort of see themselves in that way. And it's a great legacy for you, as well as a practical marketing tool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well said, Dean. Yes, so you can get in touch with us. I'm Michelle at heromediaarts.com. That's right there. And then we also have this bit.ly link that we'll put in the Q&A or the chat box, so you can download a portfolio to see those videos on your own screen, possibly with better sound. But just wanted to go out saying that when you call us, it's a collaborative process. We work together. We'll meet you where you are. And it could be from scratch, or it could be, we're working with some outdated things or things you need some help with. We'll work together and get you the resources you need. And also keep up the good work. We need creative thinkers today more than ever, and we appreciate you. Thanks so much again to the Maine Arts Commission for having us. And we're going to open it up to a little Q&A here for about 10 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Just get right into the questions. I hope that more come in. So what's your opinion of the GoDaddy website platform for artists and e-commerce?
Well, so I saw that question. I thought about it for a second. I think the GoDaddy platform, it's like another one, like, oh, what's this one? This one I think is all hosted in one. It's sort of an all-in-one plan, hosted in the same place that you build the site, which is helpful. Reminds me a little bit of Squarespace in that way. GoDaddy we use typically to buy a domain. That's sort of as much as our experience is with it, that we point people there to buy a URL for their business and their website. And also I know a couple clients who host there. I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody say they love GoDaddy customer service, but that's just been my experience.
And just to sort of back up for a minute and just high level, there are really two elements to a website. There's your domain, right? Your www.mybusiness.com. And then there's the series of folders that we create to house the website. And those don't necessarily need to live in the same place. So GoDaddy is our go-to place to register domains. There are several others. We just sort of started there. So we'll oftentimes buy a domain at GoDaddy and pay our $20 a year or something like that, and then build our site elsewhere. That could be a WordPress, it could be Squarespace. Michelle mentioned Squarespace. You can buy your domain there as well. Mm-hmm. So those are two separate things that can be purchased together. I know GoDaddy has that website tonight, I think, or something, and that's very attractive. Boom, there it is. You can get started, and that is a benefit. But you're not tied to that as well. Once you have your domain, your website can be anywhere. And that's one of our services, is helping you marry those two. They need to talk to each other. And when you add email in, it gets a little dicey sometimes. And that's that's one of the things we can help.
Are you shooting with DSLR equipment? Or are you capturing with, like, iPhones, iOS apps and editing software? I've also shot for artists for decades and have been migrating to iOS for the whole process.
Yes, DSLRs primarily. I got into this about 10 years ago. A little nerd talk when the Canon 5D came out, Mark II, that was a still camera that basically shot incredible video. It was the first DSLR that really revolutionized, video capture. It was intended for photojournalists who were taking pictures in the field of news events, but they could, push the button and capture a little bit of video. But what they found was it was really as good for video. The benefit there are, interchangeable lenses, with that shallow depth of field. If your camera's, if you've got a 2.8 or even a 1.4 with that really shallow depth of field, that makes it feel so cinematic. And on a DSLR camera, which is, $1,000, suddenly, again, going back 10 years ago, it was a game changer. You could capture video that would have been $100,000 sort of Hollywood camera before that. And that's what got me into this medium, and we've sort of stayed with that. I really like the DSLR, again, because of the flexibility. 4K came in, right? And so resolution really is not a problem anymore. And the iPhone, the new iPhones are fantastic. They don't have quite the ability to do the shallow depth of field. We shoot a lot of mirrorless cameras now too. DSLR is a single lens reflex, right? With the mirror flips up for you old camera people. Now they have a lot of cameras with there is no mirror, so it's a live view video constantly, but with interchangeable lenses, so you can get some of that depth of field. I think that the overall point is it's not the big, shoulder unit. It's not a big production. It's one guy who can walk in and produce a video like you just saw with everything on in his backpack. It's a couple of cameras, very small, very unintimidating. An audio pack, either a boom microphone or a little clip-on lavalier, and a casual conversation. So again, it's very light form. Back to the I'm rambling now, but our editing platforms, we use Adobe Premiere. I know that the Final Cut is another one. There's some native iOS editing materials. So, that's just our preferred method. There's a lot of them out there. They're growing all the time. And it really comes back to sort of that comfort level and content. Content is king, right? What are you saying? Are you telling your story? Are you saying it in an engaging way? That's the primary goal.
So a question related to that, I'll just jump to, is it seems you get really pithy responses from your subjects. How are you accomplishing that?
I think many of you who have encountered John Sturdivant, our primary videographer, would recognize that it's a gentle approach, and we all of our contract videographers have that. I don't know, it sounds pithy, but it's the hero way, right? It's gentle. We come, we see you, we move around you, we put you at ease. It's not, it's not like when a local news station is coming and sticking a microphone in your face and tell us something interesting about who you are. We take the time to sort of sit down and explore. And it's about a half an hour interview. You're not there all day. And really it starts with just a curious stance. We're interested in who you are. Tell us about how you got into this. Oh, that's interesting. Well, how about this challenge? And it is, a lot of it's in the edit, certainly. Again, you've got a half hour interview and if it's a 2-minute video, maybe they're talking for a minute and 15. And so we sort of pick out the salient, most impactful ideas and sort of build around that. So there is some story construction, but it's all, I think it comes from our authentic approach and our general curiosity as to who you are and what you do.
Mm-hmm. Great, we've got a few questions related to, there's a bunch now, so I'm trying to move along, related to costs and budget. So we have, what would a 30-second video cost? What would a 2-minute video cost? What should I budget for a social media ad campaign? And what could I do on my own?
Mhm.
There you go.
Well, so we have what we call the hero package, which is the 2-minute video with a targeted ad campaign that we help you set up based on the demographic target that you're used to and that you want to reach. And so our package includes a $200 ad spend for that one, and the analytic follow-up and recommendations for what to do in the future. So we look at the numbers, we look at how your video performed, and then come up with ideas about how to do that, how to do more in the future. And so that whole package is around $2,000. I saw there was a question about shorter videos. So then now that we have that footage, we can then use that footage to do shorter videos. So then you get a little bit of a budget on that end, and it can be $350 or something for a 30-second one that you could use on social media or on Instagram. All these videos are then, they're owned by you so that they can then go on your website. They can be pinned to the top of your social media pages, and used however you want going forward.
And I would just add, again, a lot of our stuff is sort of custom priced because it's meeting you where you are. What do you need to do? What are the priorities? How do we layer this? Michelle mentioned sort of the baseline package, which is sort of the stake in the ground to get started. But it's really working with the assets you already have in place, teaching you how to add more, and really the question of what can I do on my own. Our goal is pretty much all of it. Ultimately, we're really sort of here to help you based on your current level of experience and comfort level. These are run from your own Facebook ad manager, right? So we need to help you set that up if it's going to be a long-term campaign. So lots of variables to discuss, but really we sort of unpack that after the initial conversation with Michelle. Here's what I have. Here's what I think I want. What do you think? And we sort of go from there as far as budget goes.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to go forward getting some advice from you or working, what's the beginning to end time frame typically?
Well, you would get in touch with me through email or give me a call, and then we'll go from there. And then we just work you into the schedule. So it's hard to say because oftentimes it's a full website build that could take 6 to 8 weeks, or it's getting your WordPress site updated and your plugins updated, and that's something that could happen within a few days. The video process, you could schedule something and we could have someone to you within the next 2 weeks or so, and then editing is another, I would say, week to 2 weeks, and then you've got your final video. And in that time frame is when we could be setting up the targeted ad campaign. So there's things that sort of overlap and happen at the same time.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you provide closed captioning to make video fully accessible?
Yes, we do. And that's done through platforms, through Facebook. Wistia is one we do, YouTube, and that's really essential now, not only to make it accessible to all, but they're great. It's a great tool for SEO. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. And so if you create captions, it's embedded as a transcript. So when you're searching for that thing, main Potter or whatever it is, if that's a line in the video, that'll be grabbed through the transcript, and the video will be served in your Google results. So yeah, it really is necessary.
Great. So overall, what's been your experience with older artists, 60 and up? Are they open to new technologies and use of media? That's a very general, broad question, right?
Yes. Well, I'm working with a few artists in that age range who are learning and growing. We're all in this together, and like I said, it's a partnership. So there's some hand-holding, there's some sending tutorials back and forth, and some things that you can do on your own, and some things that you can hire us to help you with.
If I can get my 90-year-old mother on a Zoom call, not to worry, we got you.
Yeah.
So a number of people are wondering how they can, if they don't have a budget, how would you recommend starting out?
Well, I mean, it's self-serve tools, right? And we mentioned that before. If you go on GoDaddy, you know, there when you say you have no budget, that's a challenge. If you don't have a budget for professional help, then Google is a great thing, right? And there are plenty in YouTube. There are plenty of tutorials out there. You know, and truth be told, that's what Michelle and I do, right? Well, we come across one of those apps that was on our list, and wow, that looks like it could do some cool things that we could layer onto this other thing that we do. How do we learn how to do that? And it's just an educational exercise, which is free. So if you've got the time and the inclination, or are forced into that lane, you know, due to a lack of budget, it's pretty much available for you to do. So have at it and take it as far as you can, which is what a lot of our clients do, and call us when you need us. I mean, having said that, and we're perfectly fine with that, it's helpful if we don't have to undo stuff, you know, just for sort of expediency's sake, if we can sort of have that and we could do that too, to have a conversation of where you want to go, and we can point you in the direction, and you could, you know, start learning it at that point. But try not to create, you know, something that can't be salvaged or that is really sort of substandard to start. That we wouldn't want that to happen for anybody.
So I'll just ask, what are your view and engagement targets? And then maybe that'll be our last question.
There are, you know, there's lots of data to sort through, and you know, if we're talking about statistics on a campaign, again, it does depend on who the target is and what the conversion goal is. What are we trying to do and who are we trying to reach? So it's hard to sort of have consistency across those, except for one, which is our favorite stat. The average engagement, the average click-through rate on a Facebook ad is about 1%. You know, all this stuff you see in the button says learn more, watch more, buy now. Those are Facebook ads, which is what we would help you do through the Hero package. Typically, that's 1% across the board for Facebook, and we consistently run at 3%. So, you know, I like to say that our video content, and again, I sort of mentioned that scroll stopping style, right? We're sort of deluged with stuff. People stop, and they're, you know, it's a little bit different, and about 3 times as often they'll click through and engage with you. So we're proud of that one.
That's great. I will just say there's a couple of other comments in the chat that are helpful. One person says he doesn't recommend GoDaddy for anything. Other options, and Brian from Portland Media Center, formerly Community Television Network, can replay recordings on television in the greater Portland area. So if you have content, sounds like they're ready to share it. And I know that's true of other community TV stations. So that's definitely something that people could pursue. And I wanted to, do you have any last things you want to say?
No, this has been great. Thank you. I appreciate the comments and the time to share what we do. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you.
So great. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to let people know that the next session is at noon. So go make your lunch, walk around the block, get your mail, and come back for the keynote with Beth Cantor, Building Resilience in an Age of Uncertainty for Artists and Arts Leaders. And the link is in the chat. Thank you so much, Michelle and Dean. It's been great having you. Thanks, everybody. We'll see people this afternoon.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. Take care, everybody.